Hello, my loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. My name is Alexandria. If we're meeting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you guys that are old friends and family to me and the YouTube channel and even the podcast, welcome back. It is an honor. It is a blessing. I am grateful to be able to come to you this week and give you all of the astrological details, the information, the energies, the vibes of what is that you can expect. Not only that, but I'm going to give you the wisdom, the tool to know how to work with these transits so that you can make them work for you and not against you. Now, if you are an old friend and family to me in the YouTube channel, you already know that for me, there's always this overarching energy, this overarching word to describe what we can experience, what we can expect to experience in the week ahead. That word came to me this morning during my morning meditation, which was random, I'm not gonna lie to you, because this previous weekend, this weekend that we're just walking out of, I actually took the time to hang out with my sister Coven Hood, and we journeyed up to the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia. We got this really lovely small lakeside or riverside cabin. We hunkered in, we got super cozy, we did rituals, all the many things that we do, connect, cry, laugh, all of those beautiful things. And on the drive back, the journey back, we were vibing some more, and that energy was lingering and lasting into this morning when I dropped my friend off at the train station so that we can continue going back to our everyday lives. It's those types of moments that really give so much clarity and give so much direction, purpose. Connection is everything. And I really wanted to start off by setting the intention that that is something that you too get to experience. And if it's something that you feel like is neglected in your life, that the universe hasn't provided for you yet, I do set the intention that sisterhood, the right sisterhood, that it comes and supports you, that it surrounds you, and it's something that you can experience now and for the rest of your journey while you're here on Earth. Now, it was in that trip, that journey from the house to the train station to the back to the house so that I can come here and talk to you guys, that's when I heard this word. The word for this week is actually clarity. Clarity. C-L-A-R-I-T as in tiger, Y. Now, when I sat with this, it wasn't exactly what it was that I would typically expect for this word, so I don't want you to make any assumptions. I do want you to grab some tea or some coffee or fill up your Yeti mug or your cup of water and ice if that's something that you vibe with, and then meet me so that we can talk about the astrological transits and what we can expect. Welcome to BehatiLife YouTube channel featuring Jessica Alexandria of BehatiLife. This is the space to ground, grow, and connect with magic and intention. May this video inspire you to come home to yourself and remind you of your own magic within. I hope this message reaches you with perfect divine timing. Now grab your favorite tea and let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, my loves, so welcome back. It is time for us to dive into these transits. I have the chart pulled up in front of me. I do have some cards on my right. I have my notes in front of me and a few more cards here. I do have my phone. I have my cup of tea, my candle. I have chaos. I do have chaos. The office is a little chaotic right now, as you guys know, because I just got back from my trip. I'm still unpacking not only my suitcase, but also my feelings, my energies. I need extra time to journal. I will make time for that after I go and fill up my altar with all of the many goods that I want to add to my altar to bring to the energy of this week. Are you going to your altar this week? Have you already? Is there anything that you are needing to unpack just as I am? Are we on the same wavelength? Are we on the same vibe? Are we on the same frequency? Are we doing the same thing? Am I catching up with you, or are you catching up with me? I just need to know. Let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive in. So as you know, I don't like to just dive right into the start or the center of the week. I actually prefer to take a few steps back. Why I like to do this is because it's very important not to relive the past, but to gain additional clarity into the energies that have already brought us up to where it is that we're at today, where it is that we're meeting right now. For me, the first thing that's standing out to me is the fact that the sun has been transiting through the sign of Libra. Regardless of your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or if you have planets that fall in the sign of Libra or you don't, you are going to feel the effects of this transit. We all are. Why? Because the sun represents our ego. It shows where the light of our solar system is blasting into our life. And Libra does rule some type of energy within your chart. It's transiting through something within your personal chart. Where the sun is currently right now is in one of your houses, without a doubt, every single one of us. And that's astrological basics. That's beginner knowledge. It's okay if that doesn't sit with you right now, or if you didn't know that, but it is what it is. Trust me on that one, believe me. So with the sun transiting through the sign of Libra, Libra naturally rules relationships, union, harmony, connection. Even though it's very easy for us to see how Libra energy can be applied to romantic relationships, connections, partnerships, try not to pin yourself into only looking for that energy to show up in your life. Why? Because you're so unique. Your chart is unique, and there's 12 other houses or 11 other houses that this could fall into for you. I highly suggest that you pull your natal chart and you can see where the sun, which is the circle within a circle in the middle, to me, because I have a silly sense of humor, it looks like a boob. Yes, it looks like a boob in the astrological chart. So look for that boob. Where is that titty at in your chart? So right now, the sun is transiting through Libra, and this is going to highlight, and has been highlighting for us for the last week and some change. It's highlighting for us our relationship and how we, or what we are trying to intentionally or subconsciously align with. The beauty with that is that if we are wise, if we are opened, if we are curious, we can see what our intentions are and what our goals are. If we are wiser, we take a step back and we observe ourselves, but we stay open and we ask the universe, where would you see my energy flowing best? Because Libra energy always has this natural tendency to try to harmonize and do what's right for everyone. If there's a fight or a battle in the room, Libra energy is going to try to mitigate, to find the equal, the balance, the give and the take, in order to make it fair for everyone, sometimes even to the detriment of the Libra energy itself. Now remember, this has nothing to do with your sun, moon, and rising. This is where Spirit is asking us to reflect, regardless of your personal transits. Where do you see yourself trying to overcompensate, overpromise, overdeliver, or try to create like a balance, when maybe balance is not what is being asked of you right now? Maybe it's actually the extreme of that, because the very opposite of the sun is Chiron retrograde, currently sitting in the sign of Aries, and also the North Node, which is our North Star, where it is that we're pointed to go, also falls in the sign of Aries. Aries is the very opposite, actually the opposite of Libra energy. And as much as Libra energy says, I want to partner, I want to connect, I want to align, I want to harmonize, Aries says, I'm going to pursue, chase, activate, and go after these things because that's what it is that I want to do. And that know-all, that gung-ho energy is what leads the rest of the zodiac to follow in Aries' footsteps. So in this season in your life, yes, Libra season is about partnership, but really it's about harmony and alignment, and you assessing and evaluating, taking a big step back and looking at the bigger picture and trying to decipher and decode, am I overextending myself, or could I lean into more support in certain areas? What am I harmonizing with? What would that energy be? Am I harmonizing with health? Am I harmonizing with peace? Or have I chose to harmonize with chaos, dysfunction, disruption in my life? this is one of those beautiful energies, again, that we are working with, and this is what we've been walking into. I do want to say that Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, Jupiter, Uranus are all of the outer planets, but they create a lot of internal transition and transformation within us, around us. We're seeing this in government, politics, business. You guys know I've been talking about this a lot on my YouTube channel, almost like a broken record, because this has been this very slow moving, constant energy of radical change and breakdown. We're seeing this with the threats of war, the threats against our global climate change, the economy, politics, all of these things. You guys know, if you've been with me, it's almost been the thing that I talk about the most. Not because I'm politically inspired, and it's crazy too, because I just looked out my window just now and a car flew by with like all of these American flags, literally huge American flags. So it's not because I'm a person who loves politics or loves fighting and debating. I do like a good debate. I don't like to fight, but I do like to debate. I promise you, it's not because I'm so hyper-focused on that. It's because as an astrologer, we can see within the astrological charts that politics, government, money, finances, and these major core morals that we hold on to are being highlighted and broken down in very extreme ways. This is unavoidable. Astrology does cover spirituality, but it covers every single minute detail of our life, and that includes how our government is run, and when we can see war, and when we can see financial crises, and when we can see a lack of resources. And these are all things you guys know. Let me know down in the comments, have you heard me talking about this? I've been a broken record. I've been an absolute broken record. Why is this the energy that we've been dealing with? Well, Uranus transiting through the sign of Taurus, Jupiter through the sign of Taurus. We want to ideally get excited and say, wow, Jupiter is a planet of abundance and expansion and growth and philosophy and wisdom, and it is, but it has other sides to it. It has other layers. It's much more complex than that, and these are things that I talk about and I unpack on my YouTube channel all the time. We're never going to keep it superficial. We're always going to go deep. So having said that, with Uranus transiting through the sign of Taurus, totally breaking up the foundation of society and the earth as we know it. My nose is like tickling like crazy right now, because when I'm channeling, when I'm in the zone, and when spirit is moving, it literally feels like spider webs all over my face. So if you see me tickling my nose like that, that's exactly why. I also get a pinch on my collarbone too, which is another cool feeling. Right now my collarbone's quiet, but my nose is like lit right now. When you are talking to your spirit guides or your angels are coming through, what are the signs of feelings that you get? What are the signs of feelings that you get? Let me give you a quick funny story. So way back in the day, when I was finally getting a little bit more open to the idea of acupuncture, because my mom's an acupuncture doctor, but I have always been Virgo, skeptical of everything and always questioning everything. Definitely if you're coming at me with needles and then saying like, oh no, it's gonna be good for you. Yeah, I hear you, but also no. So finally I got to the point where I was like, okay, go ahead and needle me. Like I could use it. I was always having stomach issues. That is a Virgo trait. If you know, you know. So I was always having stomach issues, and finally I allowed myself to get needled. I set the intention for me to connect with my spirit guide while I was getting needled, so I could focus at least on that while not paying attention to the fact that she was, gonna juke me with little needles, little pins. Which, by the way, she was amazing. It didn't hurt at all. But during that time, I could feel my collarbone tickling so much that I was laughing. Like, I literally was laughing like a hyena. So, to the point where I was trying to hold it, and I couldn't. And I just finally admitted, and my shoulders were going up. I was like, Mom, I'm being tickled right now. It feels like it's this weird feeling in my collarbone. And I knew from that point who my spirit guide was, because that was the sign. And he shows up in the same way. He's so cool. I'm never going to call out his name, because there's people here on the internet that will try to call on my spirit guide. And it's just, no, call on your spirit guide. You will find yours who's right for you. Don't call on mine. I've got a combination of a whole family of them, as you do too. That some of them are very jovial and wonderful, and some of them the same, well, all of them, the same that will be laughing with you will be the same one who will hook you up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, just focus on your lane. I focus on my lane, because That's the way that it should be. All right, guys, I totally derailed and I'm talking about other things. So back to the astrological charts. Yeah, that's something to look out for is what are you harmonizing with? What are you aligning with? And I do have a message. This is leading into the next thing that I want to tell you. I do have a message, an intuitive message that came through while I was driving back from my road trip, and it's going to feed off of what it is I'm just saying. So make a note of that. Make sure you're turning on the notifications because I'm channeling all the time. You don't want to miss that message. It will be uploaded here on BehatiLife YouTube and maybe BehatiLife podcast. So diving into the astrological charts, I do want to say that moving forward, Pluto, the major planet of death, destruction, and crazy change, breaking things down, regenerating them, has been transiting through the sign of Capricorn for years, honey. This is an old transit, has been transiting through Capricorn. Now's retrograde will move direct late into the night, 9-10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, like I said, in the sign of Capricorn. This is wonderful because this energy is empowering us to make very impactful, wise, powerful moves when it comes exclusively to what it is that we need to now let go of that has been holding us back thus far. Remember how I told you the word clarity came through? That applies now. So clarity in this case for you and for the collective does not necessarily that you know exactly what the outcome is going to be, that you can just see the path, you know exactly what it is, you know exactly what to expect, you feel prepared, you're moving forward. That is one side of clarity, but I don't see that necessarily being what you can expect for this word of clarity this week and as we move into next week. Clarity in this sense means that Pluto has removed enough of the filter, enough of the fluff, enough of the comfort zone that us collective might have entangled ourselves into or implanted ourselves into, got cozied into, and now at least you can see without a fraction of a doubt that there's some part of you that has become or succumbed into a feeling of powerlessness. Sometimes this doesn't look so detrimental to the point where it's like you have conflict in your relationships or conflict within yourself. Sometimes it's the fact that there is a lack of conflict, meaning that there's not enough tension that is propelling you to move forward and that you might be settling into a safe place, which ultimately is breaking down into you just settling. The divine, the universe, your angels and your guides, your higher self will never ask you and never want this for you, would never wish for you to settle. As a human being, you are meant to evolve. You're meant to transition. You're meant to transform. There's meant to be change. With that, it will oftentimes look uncomfortable. Now that Pluto is now moving direct and Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, which has totally muddled expectations and boundaries and self-identity and intuition, and Neptune retrograde also in the sign of Pisces is heightening intuition and asking you to rely less on your logic and your reasoning and tradition and more on divine path and purpose and alignment for the sake of clarity, which opens up for fogginess first and then faith. That's a whole nother chapter. It's about leaping first before asking questions and knowing that you're divinely led and allowing the universe to call you and guide you and catch you. I'm also seeing, as I'm looking at these charts, it's about finding a new path for yourself. There's the old ways of the past, the old way of doing things, the tradition, the commitments, the contractual agreements. A lot of that is being crumpled up and thrown out and burnt with the fire. Why? Because tradition is being challenged. Tradition is being reworked. People in power or things that were once established, and that's the way of the world, we just accepted it, whether we loved it and saw it as normal, or whether we hated it and knew that it was chaotic but went along with it because that's the society and the ways of the world. This is what is being expelled now. This is not just in bigger grand scheme of things. This is also going to be happening in your intimate life and your relationships, your daily routines, your practice, how you take care of yourself. looking at how the food that you eat, where your food is coming from, all of these things are being drawn into your perspective so that you can see it. You can't say that you didn't see it. You knew it was called out. There was some type of information, some type of message, some type of event or challenge or opportunity that presented it to you now, put it in your face and said, now what? Believe in yourself. Let's go. Let's do this. That's what this energy of this week is bringing forward. And now that Pluto is finally moving direct, again, October 10th, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we're going to be feeling this the rest of this year and leading into the next. Now that Pluto is now direct, it is up to you to pull into your power and say, well, now I'm coming in like a wrecking ball and I'm going to destroy, dismantle, pull out, expel, release, let go, all of these things thus far that have held me back. Would you like to take a break for some tea? I would. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of tea real quick. I'm going to invite you to do the same this afternoon. I'm actually drinking some green tea with elderberry and vitamin C, which I love that for me right now. Super healing vibes, lots of energy. And then I'm going to give you a little break, a little clip. This video for right now is sponsored by BehatiLife Apothecary, specifically Behati Love Notes, which is the daily subscription where I shuffle it's a monthly subscription. I shuffle for you often throughout the month, exclusive tarot readings, channeled messages throughout the month to keep you going, to keep you inspired and moving from a higher vibration, always. We do a lot of readings on twin flames, love, connections, soulmate check-ins, but a lot too is energy from our angels and our guides. What is that we need to hear right now? And oftentimes lately I've been doing channeled messages and pick a card version on that platform. So Behati Love Notes, $15 a month, and BehatiLife Apothecary will be reopening soon. There will be a date that will be mentioned in the near future, so make sure that you turn on your notifications or sign up for the BehatiLife newsletter. All right, my love, so hopefully you've had a nice little hot sip of your tea. You're feeling like a cute, spiritually, high vibrational honeybee. You're ready to go, because I am. I got this new honey while I was out in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So good. It's from the wildflower mountain bees. I love that. It really inspired me. I'm highly considering adding honeybees to my homestead, but we shall see, baby steps. I'm also inspired to just get a little shack out in the mountains and just live there by candlelight. Have you ever just felt like that is the move? Especially with the way of the world right now. It just feels like, well, astrologically speaking, it makes sense. Just going back to the earth, going back to Terra, grounding yourself, and just throwing away, tossing away all of the expectations that society, the world that we have for ourselves, and replacing it with, you know what? I'm a bee. I'm a bumblebee. Like just being a bee in your own little bubble and enjoying the nectar of life, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it's books. For me, it's pulling charts. For me, it's spending time with my people that I love, like my boyfriend and my animals. Love them. Okay, guys. So diving into this chart, I do want to say that we do have the Libra new moon, but before that, well, the Libra new moon is going to be on October 14th. I'm going to have a whole video about that, believe me, and also a podcast. So keep your eyes open for that. You guys know I unpack new moons and full moons. They are my prime time. They are my bread and butter. They are what keep me going. New moons. That's when I'm at my altar. 1,000% at my altar. Before that, though, October 12th is when Mars, the planet that rules our action, our drive, our ambition, finally enters into the sign of Scorpio. Now, when I look at the chart and all of these energies that are just intermingling, I have to tell you that looking at all of these pieces, all of these aspects, there's so much here about expelling. There's so much here about expelling, pushing this out, releasing this. This does not serve me. I want to say that it doesn't feel extreme. Shout out to the sun transiting through the sign of Libra. If this was any further on in the few weeks, I feel like it would be a little bit more intense, this new moon and this energy that we're dealing with right now. But for the sake for the fact that Mercury is in the sign of Libra, the sun is in the sign of Libra. There's something here that is kind of creating a sweet little buffering that makes this a little nicer to digest, to hold, to sit with. When I say it, I mean that which it's time for you to let go of. So I don't see this necessarily as you like explosively releasing things from your life. That sounds really weird, but for real though, I see it more as, now that I have this awareness, I realize that it's in my best interest and I can come to terms with and find peace with allowing this to unfold, to let this go, to just surrender this to the universe so that I can fall back into my power, so that I can fall back into my faith, so that I can fall back into the arms of the divine and feel the presence of blessings again. For some of you guys, the path thus far of you fighting and forcing and trying to make this thing work, whatever this is, a relationship, your work, this fitness routine, travel, whatever the case is, it's so exhaustive. It feels like it could have taken a whole chunk out of you. It could feel like you're swimming upstream, and that has been a common theme as I'm pulling charts for my clients when they're explaining their goals for themselves for the future. And I'm pulling the chart and I was like, before we even dive into your chart, I got to tell you everything that's going on around you so that you can understand why your path has been so difficult. If that's them who I'm working with one-on-one, we're all under the same umbrella of energies. You're included in that too. It feels like sometimes swimming upstream, and with these planets that have been retrograde for so long, all of this energy is pulling internal. It's pulling you in, it's withdrawing, and you too have to kind of find yourself flowing with that energy, because if you're trying to start these new goals for yourself and try to walk down one way, there's a suction cup that's happening that's pulling you in. So what do? You sit back, you reflect, you observe, you get curious, you ask questions. Now let me know down in the comments if you've heard me say ask questions, be curious, open your mind again and again and again in the weeks, the months leading up to this video right now. That has been the approach to these energies, is to ask questions of other people, to ask questions of yourself. Why do I do this? Why do I feel this way? This was my first initial thought. Where did that come from? You can peel back the layers, sure, to find the root, but just to begin to allow your subconscious to ask the question so that you can find something of an answer to give you clarity into why you're doing what it is that you're doing. And if now that you know this answer, is this even what you want to do? Or is it something that you just accepted with and you went along with it? Now, I do want to say that the part of fortune is directly opposite Jupiter. Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Taurus. The part of fortune is falling in the sign of Scorpio. As soon as Mars enters into the sign of Scorpio, which is going to be October 13th, no, it's going to be October 12th. October 13th is when Mars trines off with Saturn, Saturn retrograde. We'll talk about that. Let me tell you about it right now. This is going to be the week of, because of this day, the energy of coming back into your power, finding, securing, establishing for yourself a ritual, routine, regimen that is a constant for you in a chaotic, constantly changing world. Whether that mean that you go for walks, whether that mean that you do nighttime yoga, that you set a bedtime routine. It's something that you can do every day or routinely that helps your energy, your vibrations raise up. Emphasis on action, what you can do, because again, Mars is going to be entering the sign of Scorpio. This is going to activate your ability to expel, release, let go. The part of fortune is also falling in the sign of Scorpio. This is where our greatest blessings and gifts are going to come from. We're going to find that we're more lucky when we surrender and expel, release expectations, pressure, or certain energies. Everyone's going to be different. It could be you stop trying so hard to make a friendship work. You stop traveling so that you can just sit down. You de-weeding the yard. You cleaning out your car. There's something here about letting go of the clutter, the baggage, what you've built up, releasing it, expelling it, and saying, finally, Finally, now that I let that go, I can move forward and feel light instead of lethargic. The North Node falling in the sign of Aries this week and Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries is activating our need to finally, for some of us, but consistently continue to ask ourselves, how do I feel? What is the vibe here? What do I want? Who am I? And that idea of who I am may be something that is actively being changed right now. There are some people whose access to you needs to be revoked, is what I just heard from Spirit. There's some people whose access to you needs to be revoked because they have been diminishing, dwindling, pulling from your power. For some of you guys, this could be as close as relationship connections, marriage partners, people that you intermingle with. Others, it could be corporate rules. We were talking about that on the podcast, expectations, things that you just kind of go align with, that you co-sign with, things that just do not have your best interest at heart. They take away from you emotionally, but you're with it because you've made a commitment to it. This time, this week, is the best way to work with this energy is to begin to question the powers that be. Who said to me that it has to be this way? Even though I committed myself to this relationship, to this job, to this thing, I didn't commit myself to the way that you treat me in this job, in this relationship, in this situation, whatever. There's a difference. It doesn't need to be all or nothing. So let's say the conversation that you need to have is within you. Maybe it's not that you have to throw away all of your life, everything that you built. Maybe there's some things here that could be tweaked that will empower you. And then you replace that which doesn't serve you with that does. And that becomes your day-to-day. This is all a part of you breaking down a new path and paving a new path in a way for yourself instead of accepting whatever was passed on to you or whatever it is that you've already created. Remember how I said in the very beginning that as human beings, we're all evolving, we're all changing, we're all shifting. That's the way that it has to be. And if not, we're just going to be sitting there being stagnant. That's not the vibe. It's not the vibe. So with that, what are the new rules for you? What is the new way? What is the new order? What is the new shift? What does that look like? You get to define that 1000%. So let's see if I'm missing out on anything here. Oh, for some of you guys, I do want to say last thing, because this video is about trying to keep it under 40 minutes long. You guys know I'm long-winded and YouTube loves a 20-minute video. That's why I created the podcast, because I be going deep, and that's also why I created Behati Love Notes and Sacred Circle Tarot School, because there I can pour my everything into people who cherish it, value it, appreciate it, instead of people who want things quick, fast, hard. That sounded weird. Do you know what I mean? So, okay. I do want to say that in all of this, please, 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 use the power of your word. This means that journaling, processing, taking that time out to get it out of your head, out of your heart, and onto paper is going to be exhilarating. It is so good for you. Even as I say this now, the moon is transiting through, at the beginning of this week, through Virgo. Virgo has to analyze and compartmentalize and make sense of things so that finally things can situate and fall into place. After that, we've kind of transitioned into harmony and alignment because we understand the intention, we understand what we need. It feels good, it's digested, it's processed, it makes sense to us. Venus is also now transiting through Virgo. Let me make sure that I have my year right, because I started my journal this morning, no lie, with October 10th, because that's the time that I'm recording it, 2013. Girl, why am I 10 years too early? Late? Why did I think today was 2013 and not 2023? That's how fast this weekend has moved. I don't even know where I am anymore. I woke up this morning thinking I was still by the river. Speaking of 10 years, guys, shout out to BehatiLife. 10 years. 10 years. Can you believe that? 10 years showing up. Insane. So pats on the back for the times where I'm just like, 10 years doing what it is that I do is professionally here publicly is pretty wild and something to celebrate. That's a decade. Is 10 years a decade? Can someone let me know? Please? Can somebody, anybody? Also, look, I've got binoculars here. Because I was in the woods looking for deer and chipmunks, but I didn't need the binoculars, to be honest with you. They came right up to us. Well, not right up to us, but they were across the river. It was a beautiful thing. All right, so looking forward into this, guys, journaling. Journaling is going to be everything because it allows you to find and lean into the beauty of word and getting your thoughts out and letting the energy flow and allowing that to lift your spirits. It's very, especially if you're channeling, getting dreams, prophetic messages, little inklings that keep popping up, try to capture them in your journal. I actually made a commitment to myself to carry my journal with me, even if I'm going to the grocery store, because with these types of transits, these things are going to come through. Not only is this going to be messages from the divine or messages from your angels and your guides, especially if you're asking for clarity and intention for the future and what to expect, but also moments for you, little sentences or paragraphs or music or something that will also add and contribute to your own healing. And I see that within the chart 1000%. Part of this is because Mercury is directly opposing Chiron retrograde, but the majority of it is what is that I'm intuitively sensing as my nose was itching, but also as I'm looking at the chart, as I'm looking at the whole of the chart, not pieces bit by bit. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this. I so appreciate you. Round of applause to you for hanging in there with me. Thank you. Please let me know if you would like to see more astrology channel, like astrology videos like this on my YouTube channel. Definitely hit the thumbs up button because it signals to YouTube that listening to me and clicking on my videos is worth it to anybody in any way, shape, or form. Even if it's just to sit and drink coffee or tea with me, to burn a candle, to receive a positive intention, to receive empowerment. YouTube doesn't know that I'm even worth listening to if there's no feedback coming back in. So that's just the way the YouTube algorithm works. So please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, of course, I'm going to invite you in and welcome you into my beautiful BehatiLife tribe. 10 years is a long time. I don't believe that's 10 years on YouTube, but 10 years working my magic for the public in the way that is that I have, it says something. It talks about longevity, and here's to 10 more years. So I definitely invite you into that family, into my own space here where, of course, I'm going to show up for you constantly or consistently, or I should say. And then also, if there are any suggestions, questions, anything that you have that you would like to ask me, feel free to send it over at info@BehatiLife.com, because that is the way to get in contact with me. With definitely too, if you have an order or if you're waiting for a reading, there are a few on kind of lingering right now that I'm going to be finishing up this week into next. And we also have some other exciting stuff coming down the pipeline with that when it comes to sponsors for this video and other exciting things that will be getting launched, especially in the new year. So I've already said too much. I am going to say this. Thank you again for being with me, for hanging out with me. I hope that you are well. And of course, I hope that I see you in my next video. Bye.